Okay, so now let's get some real insight into the development of the MPCP binomial system for residual income, which brings us up to where we are today. How was it done? Well, I invented the binary system and perfected it with a tracking system and regeneration of repeat sales and accumulation of these repeat sales to maximize earnings. I hope you understand that. We'll get into a little more depth about it. We spent 2 years prior to the opening of Market America testing it and fine-tuning it. Now, this had never been done before, and it was not a simple fixed payout of a percentage of the sales and then resetting the volume to zero at a cutoff date every single month. This was a whole new world. You see, accumulation and keeping volume in the system was complicated and it was unknown. It was based on both finite math and actuarial or probability math, and it needed to be tested. Infinite search and accumulation was revolutionary and presented new challenges. You see, everyone had to be on different clocks so that one could get paid when they reached the criterion and have the volume reset, but not the others in the line that didn't get paid yet or were on different accumulation levels and the volume stayed in the system and continued to accumulate so that they could get paid. The dynamics in math required everyone, every UFO, to carry their own weight and to meet certain requirements to benefit from the system and for the math to work. The math has to work. So you can't fool with the system without it affecting the math, and then the things that we love so much aren't possible. To be possible, we have to do it right. And these personal production requirements were key to the system and the math working. The algorithms and production requirements were necessary for both regulatory reasons and mathematically for the plan to work. As amazing as it is, there's a reason that it works. And that's why it is the way it is. The product costs were based on algebraic formulas setting the price competitively at retail level, allowing for a retail profit and covering the cost of goods plus a profit to run the company soundly while maximizing BV and commissions. Now, it took 5 years of testing, monitoring, and adjusting to perfect this. These data functions and algorithms tied to requirements are one of the greatest trade secrets as it controls the commission payout. Every person in the genealogy can earn based on the MPCP at the same time if they all carry their own weight, their production and production-wise, and meet the requirements. However, as miraculous and revolutionary as the plan is, the system must be followed. If the system's not followed or, quote, beaten, and people earn passively, or fake people are inserted, or unretailed volume is manipulated and illegally placed right before the commission runs, which is equivalent to gaming, then it can trigger invalid, fraudulent commissions and cause commissions to increase uncontrollably. Now, that's why the qualifications and requirements have to be strictly enforced. Okay, so let's talk about binary versus binomial. When I invented this or created it and it came out, everybody called it binary, kind of became the common name. But how is the Market America and the MPCP different from what is commonly called binary now? Well, what followed our introduction of this plan or platform, or what people called binary marketing, was an avalanche of copycats and counterfeiters trying to do the same thing by simply copying the diagram and surface functions of the plan. The biggest mistake we ever made was not getting it patented. Well, unfortunately, these copies were counterfeit and they had no knowledge of how the math worked or the tracking or the algorithms and necessary production qualifications necessary for it to work and to control the payout. The consequence was their payout grew beyond revenue and they imploded. Others didn't understand the legalities and how the plan was designed to enforce regulatory law. At my last count, done about a few years ago, there was over 300 companies that tried to copy it and failed. Fundamentally, the MLM mentality and the irresponsible principles of these counterfeit programs or companies, they don't really care about longevity, and they bastardize the plan. They tarnished its name and created a preconceived notion that all binary plans were the same and included many of their deficiencies with that branding. In other words, people saw what was wrong with them when it didn't apply to us at all because they didn't do it right. But what people in the public do not understand is that what they called binary is missing the wiring in order for it to work. I call our system binomial because there's a constant value of retailing and regenerated retail sales volume in the formula. And that's how it was designed to compound. The way it's set up, it actually compounds, and it's what makes it work. And this is something that you should be happy about, because the requirements in the plan and the way we emphasize retail actually forces repeat volume to accumulate and actually compound, increase and increase and increase, rather than having to do new recruiting or new sales. So without that, one needs to exponentially recruit more people at the baseline in order to continue generating income upline. Do you understand that? Because it's really a phenomenal concept, genius, and the things that are actually requirements actually benefit you in the plan to make more money and to make it easier. So we perfected the plan over several years and added features to it to complement what we were doing from the unfranchised system, such as online shopping and e-commerce, computerized or internet marketing, BV and IBV accumulation, one-to-one marketing and mass customization, PC systems, customer tracking systems, university majors with the mall without walls, and retailing programs and systems, and recently the shopping annuity converting spending into earning. Understand that all of these were integrated and interfaced into the MPCP and the plan. So during this evolution and journey, the plan was proven solid and worked beautifully for anyone who worked it and followed the system. However, it was not the simplest business to understand. It required paying attention and supervision or oversight of one's organization to assure that they didn't miss checks, which is basic management responsibilities. Going back to the concept of the MPCP, management compensation plan, and you had to actually put some oversight and management in with your people. So always remember that the MPCP is called that for a reason. One's not paid on volume alone, but on the management of the group, management performance, where they get paid based on volume of an organization that they are actively managing, not just on volume without satisfying the management responsibilities. It's not an entitlement just because volume is generated or built. This is well documented in the IUAA and the unfranchised manual. This is not MLM. One needs to manage the organization of UFOs, including providing assistance with administration and requirements. They must also focus on retailing and Form 1000 plus the 70% rule, training, motivation, enforcement of the rules, and resolving problems and disputes. That's what you get paid for. And if you don't do it, the volume isn't going to last anyway. So if they do that successfully on an ongoing basis, they're entitled to be compensated for their management performance, which is then based on, and calculated on the volume. I hope you get that. But of course, one can offload this work by duplicating successfully. However, if one does not do that, technically and legally, they are not entitled to compensation or residual income. If they manage the organization in UFOs or train someone else to do it, and it is being handled properly, then they don't have to do much. They don't have very much to do at all, except monitor it to make sure that it's done. So this would include being aware of what's going on in one's organization, especially if they are benefiting from the sales and the volume directly or indirectly. It also definitely includes addressing unsavory or unscrupulous activities that circumvent or violate the rules or manipulate the MPCP. I hope you're hearing that. So now back to the main point of the sophistication or complexities of the MPCP with complications of meeting qualifications, monitoring organizations, and the simple retailing and ongoing requirements to substantiate retailing and activity. The activity requirements, retailing requirements, transfer buying, and accrual option change the playing field for tens of thousands of UFO leaders by stabilizing and increasing weekly and monthly income and practically predetermining weekly pay levels that everyone could count on. When we first put these things into effect, there was almost a mutiny or riot. Today, they wouldn't live without them, okay? Because it is what's needed to create compounding income in the plan, and it's built right into it. So sometimes it takes actually experiencing it to really understand it. However, it was a battle getting there. But now everyone loves it and would not do the business without it. It took several years to perfect the plan in the MPCP, and it required extremely complicated programming, data exchange, and tracking systems. The extension of that to 2 commission banks of BV and IBV, allowing a UFO to earn 2 checks or twice as much on the same organization and customer base, is also revolutionary unto itself. No one else has it or can do it. Now, let's fast forward 10 to 15 years as the process of increasing the field's earning potential never stopped. The addition of the preferred customer system, customer tracking system, shop.com, unfranchise.com, shop tracker or shop points, as well as integrating regions and countries with the global unification and IRCs or UGCs, exponentially increase the complexity of the programming, but optimize and maximize the earning potential for every UFO internationally. All we think about is you earning more money. So to earn more money, though, it has to be easy enough to do. So that was the other thing that we focused on. It's a miraculous integration of technology with many engines and systems working together to make the business work and increase residual income. However, one of my passions and missions of the company has always been to make it accessible and doable for the average person. So making it simpler, automated, faster, and easy has always been a primary objective. And over the last 10 years, we worked hard to make it easier with alerts, notifications, automation, automated processes, simplified processes, autofills, plus easily accessible and easy to read reports. However, it's a real business, and one has to keep up to date and use the tools and the systems. Folks, I gotta tell you, there's no such thing as a free lunch. You just can't sign up and make 6 figures. It requires paying attention and being able to keep up to date, and it pays very well to do so. Now, I want you to refer to these PowerPoint or these slides that we're going to show you in a couple minutes. And it's a quick 5-minute lesson on the things that we put in place to make it easier and automated. And it's important to appreciate how much is going into making it simpler, easier, and greatly automated. Look at the way it was 20 to 25 years ago when we first started and compare it to how it is now. I mean, folks, the bottom line is there's no free lunch. It's never going to get any easier than this. And if you can't do this one, you can't do any of them. It's just that simple. So what we're going to do is actually go through these diagrams very quickly to show you the power of it and how marvelous it is that we made this easy for any average person to be able to do. But you got to do it. Okay, so let's digress for a minute and look at the things that we put in place to make it easier or more automated. It's important to appreciate how much has been done to make it simpler, easier, and greatly automated. Look at the way this was 20 to 25 years ago when we first started compared to now, and how it is so much easier. You know, you can also go to the written version of this presentation to open a link with the PowerPoint and study it and then be able to explain them, because I think it makes a big difference to people. So if you look at this slide, it shows the way the business was 15 to 25 years ago when it was much more difficult, but the top UFO pioneers did it anyway. Now, over the years, we made it easier and automated. So this first slide shows where we are now, the things that have done to make the MPCP much more duplicatable, much easier to do, to grow much faster, and more realistic for the average person. But back when we started, we didn't have anything, and we put things in place that helped, but even those were quite difficult. It didn't matter though. We built the MPCP and the Basic 5 in the business anyway and had tremendous success. So when we started, we fundamentally had nothing but the MPCP and the Basic 5. But what we did have was belief. And that same belief that built it back then builds it today, but exponentially faster and easier. And I think it's important to appreciate that. So there's been a lot of advances in simplicity, automation, and transparency to make the MPCP easier and more duplicatable. We didn't stop there when we were 10, 15 years into the program and it was growing like mad. Over the last 10 years, we continued to put systems, technology, and programs in place to make the MPCP and requirements a no-brainer and building the business easier and more duplicatable for the average person. And this kind of shows it. Direct deposit commissions, Shop Buddy Mobile, Get Started Guide, free shipping for customers for $99 and over, Modus Mobile, Shopping Annuity Bonus Program, the Fast Start Kit, unfranchised media app, product kits, UBP presentations that make it so simple to show the plan, TLS Mobile, unfranchised virtual partner, online vouchers, Meet on Mobile, AutoForm 1000. I mean, that was a big one. And unfranchised mobile, global shop mobile. We just keep doing more and more, and wherever we can, make it transparent and automated or systemated with alerts so that it's so easy to build the business. And I think it's really important to appreciate that. Because now is the time to make it happen. So listen, I know that I've been throwing a lot at you very quickly and it's difficult to absorb it all. But for a moment now, just please pause. Think about all of the tenets of the MPCP that everyone loves, which differentiate the unfranchised business and Market America from so many other businesses. How important are they to you? Really, how important are they to you? How do we preserve them after 25 years for longevity and residual income? So please answer that with each item below. I want you to think, not just let it go in one ear and out the other. I want you to take a look at a list of strengths and solutions and features of the plan today. First, we're retail driven with competitively priced, unique, or revolutionary science-based products allowing for significant retail profits. Now, you can't stop the business because people beat the door down for the products. And 50% of the UFOs were customers before they became UFOs. We know this because we document it through customer metrics and data and Form 1000. The vertical binomial plan to build just 2 legs per BDC to be solid and have a 6-figure residual income rather than numerous legs, 6 to 20 personally sponsored, and that has to be done all at once and with, and they're all in competition, making it even more difficult. But a BDC requires only 2 organizations or tracking threads of customers, to UFOs, to senior UFOs. And this tracking system is organic and has no matrix structure required to be filled out. It just spreads naturally, or organically, or virally, like the classic movie example, or like you developed your current circle of friends. It just kind of happens. And until it accumulates or finds enough volume to get paid in the MPCP. No one else has this. Now, once it reaches the cumulative threshold volume level to get paid, volume is usually very stable and repeats weekly because of the regenerated or repeat orders from customers. And of course, it's required in the MPCP, so people do it. But on these 2 tracking threads or channels, one makes more than if they had 6 to 20 legs in networking or MLM. Then we look at the infinite search and the tracking system of sales daily and weekly, finding volume wherever it is and accruing it to give everyone 100% credit without dilution. Now, dilution means that each successive level dilutes or pays less until there is nothing left to pay. We eliminated that concept. Really, folks, this is an interesting one, as it is organic and follows the way things naturally happen in life, like the movie example. And there's no need to fill out fixed levels with a predetermined number of slots, because it accumulates volume vertically, regardless if anyone activates. There's no matrix effect or of filling out a set of positions of a symmetrical horizontal structure or successive levels, which increases exponentially vertically, like 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Or if you want to start with 3, 3, 9, 27, 54, 108, 216. What a nightmare. But that's where the growth or volume goes off the pay line level, like I explained earlier in explaining MLM programs. And all that's needed here are real sales and building action and volume somewhere where it begins in a location down in the organization. Doesn't matter how far down. Somewhere down in the genealogy, based on retailing and duplication anywhere, regardless of the levels or geography, you're going to win. And so eventually someone will lead to growth in volume somewhere, and that's all you need to earn. There's nothing else like this. So no one needs to fill out horizontally, although every UFO in the line of fire benefits. That's why we say, light the fire in the basement, because it has a greater incentive to identify and start a second leg then, because if that fire is lit, all you need is one more. You're half rich or half paid. It's incredible. So however, they don't lose out and frequently are halfway to getting paid or paid weekly. Again, I call it half paid or half rich, which makes success very realistic and reachable. So this happened almost without you understanding it or knowing it, and you only need one more leg. Hey, how much better can it get? Nobody's going to do everything in life for you. So accumulation and accrual of volume over a year, so that it's not a matter of if one gets paid, but it's a matter of when they'll get paid within realistic annual time limits. So the elimination of monthly reset. Think about this. Every other program resets every month. People that didn't hit the levels miss out. Somebody at the top makes all the money. So that elimination of monthly reset, where all volume is flushed and purges at the end of every month, starting over at zero at the expense of those who fell short and to the benefit of those upline, okay, is eliminated. And then think about this, weekly payout. For those people that are building, that have significant volume, in another system, they'd only be getting paid once on that, and the rest would be overflow. But in our weekly pay program, which is really 4.2 times a month if you average it over a year, it enables leaders with larger organizations and customers customer basis to get paid 4 or 4.2 times on the volume rather than it being overflow on which they would not get paid and only get paid once. It's just genius. But that doesn't hurt anybody else because the smaller people have the volume accumulated, accrued week after week after week, so they don't lose out and end up always earning. So your next thing is that you earn 2 checks on the same organization. A volume accrues in 2 banks, BV and IBV, on the same organization simultaneously, allowing one to earn 2 checks on the same people, same organization, rather than having to recruit and build new ones. I mean, how fabulous is that? So requirements to main activity and increase volume and repeat volume while ensuring regulatory requirements are satisfied. All UFOs grow to love this at some point because it results in solid regenerated or repeat volume and income. You know how much volume you have and you know that you're going to be paid. That's pretty incredible. They already know that the minimum that they will have coming in before the week or the month starts. Therefore, as one builds, there's a compounding effect from repeat sales. And we measure that and make sure that it's happening with Form 1000, accrual option of 50 per month, which equals the activity requirement of 150 per quarter in order to keep accruing volume. So the whole system is built on that to ensure that you have a constant and growing residual income. Everyone must carry their own weight, though, in order to benefit. You can't get in this passively, okay, and benefit from other people's efforts, and it doesn't allow for passive earning. It facilitates residual income, and the monthly accrual option and transfer buying and the reliable volume it generates monthly, securing commissions because you know what you can count on before the month or the week starts. That actually is made to happen by requirements, if you understand it. And it's retail driven. Form 1000, all these methods or systems generating retail customers, resulting in repeat regenerated volume monthly, and the timing program that benefits everyone. Different people can earn on a cycle before their upstream partner earns, or the reverse, without anyone losing the volume because the volume waits for them. How important is that? Do you realize that every single person in your line is on a different time clock, being measured and volume being reset separately? The programming to do that is more complicated than going to the moon. So this is just taken for granted sometimes. I guess is why I get so worked up. But it's monumental, and it's extremely complex tracking and programming because everyone is on different time clocks and the volume needs to be accrued and adjusted for each and every UFO every week in the line individually and separately weekly. But this maximizes everyone's chance for success because no one is punished because of the timing, and timing is everything, isn't it? So the next thing is re-entry. How much do you love re-entry? Oh, you haven't gotten to that yet. Well, you know, follow the system and you will. But re-entry is multiplying income vertically rather than horizontally. Just think about your upline. If they needed to make more money, they would have to go outside of you, and so would everybody else. And they're all in competition with you. But no, if they want to make more, you benefit from their desire to make more because it has to come under you. So, you know, it eliminates that horizontal spreading oneself thin, and we're actually able to secure legs and income for yourself and the team while simultaneously building profitability and security in depth, vertically. Now, although a BDC is capped at $3,600 per week in order to assure that others will make money, which secures your income, one can multiply their income by opening new BDCs vertically in one of their 2 legs. And the income leverage built in from the beginning with the 3 centers is another amazing thing. We actually put in, because you don't understand it in the beginning, 3 centers for you, 2 extra invisible centers. Now, this allows one who builds a solid business with the BDC 001, which captures the volume in 2 digitally placed invisible centers at the same time to build the 001 to its full potential, because these two centers capture the volume at the same time and it passes through those centers or banks and is stored. So while you're building your 001 for a solid income, you're also setting yourself up for leveraging more income with half the work. I mean, who else thinks of this? So this allows them to build the second or third center to double or triple their income with only having to build one more leg for each. That's twice the money for half the work. And the three centers allow a UFO who does three times the income for twice the work or volume. I don't know where else you could get that. I mean, guys, this is so genius and revolutionary that I get myself worked up. I'm just trying to let you have an appreciation that everything we do and the reasons behind it make this plan genius and make it work for you in a way that you could never have even thought of. I mean, the mathematics of the plan allow for this as long as the requirements are met. And that's the point. Without the requirements, these things that you love would not be possible. And then the next thing is strategic volume placement of unencumbered retail volume, BV or IBV, downline in the organization to benefit everyone on the team in the genealogy line with 100% credit, no dilution, placing it in another personally sponsored UFO or transfer buying center. So this rewards a leg for teamwork and progress, and everyone in the line gets 100% BV or IBV credit, advancing everyone toward earning at one time. The only hitch or requirement is that one must have documentation that it was retailed or consumed in the shopping annuity. The tracking system and fulfillment for customers is another amazing aspect of this. Very few systems deal directly with the customer for the distributor. Everything from credit card processing or payment processing, crediting retail volume, fulfillment and shipping of the product, metrics, building a profile and buying history for personalized campaigns. And you know, this eliminates redistribution of product if one wants it, like in direct sales or MLM. The customer and UFO referral footprint tracking is just one of the most incredible things that we have that nobody else has. This is colossal and virtually non-existent elsewhere. It is also the least understood or appreciated feature, which is the key to the future of the shopping annuity, as well as UFO sales volume, security, and ownership, because it ends up allowing you to own your customers no matter where they go or where they are. It tracks the referral thread of customers leading to customers, and then ties it to UFOs, and then UFOs to UFOs up the MPCP genealogy. Because of this, fundamentally, a UFO owns the customer base, and regardless of where a customer goes or what they do globally, the customer is recognized and the UFO is always credited, as are the customers that they lead to. So customers lead to customers, you still get credited. That's remarkable in itself. This allows for leverage of collecting buying power and residual income in the MPCP and shopping annuity. To a large extent, this differentiates Market America from MLM, because instead of buying and redistributing products tier to tier or crediting inventory purchases, even though it's bought directly from the company from the top down, it is tracking sales from retail customers and consumption of UFOs as their own customers from the bottom up, and it accumulates it, giving everyone in the path 100% credit for the volume without dilution and without successive levels where it's diluted. It's absolutely amazing. I hope that you can comprehend that. This, of course, is on top of the retail profits with a competitive pricing so that our products are economical and a real value at retail. Now, direct sales and network marketing, MLM or affiliate marketing, do not have this framework or system. Therefore, I pontificate that we're not MLM at all. This means that residual income is built on solid, repeat, and regenerated sales from the bottom up, and it's all about a tracking system rather than a tier-to-tier distribution system of physical products. Well, that brings me to the next one. Global unification with IRCs and UGCs. I mean, maybe you don't understand it yet because you haven't gotten there, but it allows one to build globally without overflow volume. It basically takes away the incentive to build in different countries because you're not going to really benefit that much from it when you or your organization does it, because you get over 5,000. And so why go in that leg to another country? That's what happens when all the volume is simply combined into one compensation program, or the MPCP, with one bank, decreasing the potential earnings by expanding in another country. Okay, so this system allows one to complete weaker legs at home when building in a new region or in global markets, all while expanding income in the region with the ability to earn twice on that volume in 2 regions or countries, and possibly a third. I'm not going to get into detail now, but it's just an incredible system that benefits you and your team any way you want to cut it or want to slice it. So when you're at that point, when you see that, it's so much more powerful than what anybody else has. Again, we're at the top in technology and economic synergy in our program. All the while, others in large organizations are working as a team and also cross-pollinating in other countries and regions can allow you to get them to earn at home, earn in the other country, and earn a third time in the UGC when you have many team members doing it. So you'll understand that all when you get to it, but it's there is the point. We thought way beyond where you might be thinking. So what do you think about these things that make up what we're really all about? I mean, they didn't exist for the most part before our program. They're totally new innovations. So for them to work and the MPCP and the company to be solid financially, the requirements and system must be followed, period. I mean, that's just it. You like this stuff? You see the difference? They have to be followed, because that's what allows them to exist. So failure to do so must be corrected by the company, or it threatens the plan and the residual income for everyone. I hope you understand that. So when you look at this, and if you were thinking about each one of those things that we appreciate or love that make us better and different, you can call it what you want: genius, revolutionary, paradigm shifting, unheard of, misunderstood, more profitable and realistic. But you know, it's internet and digital marketing at its best. I mean, it's crazy. This is next level matrix, unbelievable and mind-boggling. Call it what you like. But it's what we have, and it's why we are different and unparalleled and unequaled, as well as not understood and therefore mischaracterized. What makes these advantages possible, though? That's the point I want to make. Can you imagine the business or life without them? Now look, stop, think, and answer, because you've got to be clear on this. What if we even reverted back to the way it was 15 to 20 years ago, when it was much harder to manage and build and duplicate, but for some unknown reason we grew the fastest? I guess because we were the toughest, and we had a high level of belief. But would you like that? It was those people and pioneers working as partners and as a team with us that caused it to get easier. But would you like that? Pause, think, and answer. All of those requirements and processes were there to allow the plan to actually work mathematically, legally, and to ensure there was regenerated volume, which is the gas or the fuel in the tank that fuels the MPCP. It all works to support or ensure maximum profitability and build stability in residual income and ensure stability and longevity as well as regulatory compliance. How important is that? You don't think it's important until you have a problem and see how it disintegrates everything. You know, I have an awesome responsibility. I don't know how this got put on my shoulders, but there's so many people that depend on Market America residual income for their livelihood and for their well-being that I have to be concerned about these things. But all the things that we did over 20 years made it more transparent, easier, and more duplicatable for UFOs. It's easier to build now than it was then if one uses and leverages the system. So why are we then even questioned about requirements, qualification, and activity criteria and to accumulate and get paid? The answer is simple. Without them, you could not have all those features that we've talked about a minute ago that most everyone loves and makes our business model more profitable, stable, and secure. But what if people only use it to beat the system because we made it easier? What about that? What if people do not follow the unfranchised system and policies and procedures? I mean, it's the MPCP and our building blocks of policies and procedures that make the base of Market America so strong. Okay, so let me ask you this. What if people do not follow the unfranchised systems and policies and procedures? Well, it's the MPCP and our building blocks of policies and procedures that make the base of Market America so strong. But what makes the company successful are UFOs who do follow the system. Our success is built on your success. We need UFOs to grow stably and to teach the system the right way. So as the company grows, we grow even stronger than when we first started. Hey, listen, I love it when UFOs go back to the basics, but that doesn't mean that we need to take away all the tools that we've added that make this business easier to operate. And that way, if you go back to the basics, you can just go that much faster and further. But focus on the basics of building the business the right way and follow the system. And following our policies and procedures is absolutely necessary. Absolutely everything you need to excel is already built into the MPCP. Take a hard look at its benefits and you'll realize that there is no better way. Let me tell you something. Those who think that they can cheat the system are chipping away at the very bedrock of Market America and sabotaging their own success at the same time. We need you to shut out the negativity and shut down the cheaters so we can work to strengthen the Market America family from the ground up all the way to the top. That's what it's all about, folks. That's what we're going to do in the next 25 years, and you're going to be on top with us. I believe in you. Keep growing.